pay attention to how to think and what to think in different kinds of positions. I will share my thinking as we go, explain key ideas and common mistakes, and ask some questions. All right, let's start. Welcome. We have 480, so let's see, the opponent is 470. Let's play d5. Okay, e6 is a good option, and also c6 is another one. Let's play e6, Queen's Gambit. We don't want to take here because then white will have a good center, and then this pawn will drop later. It's not a good idea to take here and try to protect that pawn. Okay, there's many options. In my own games, I play lots of Rakosin defense, which is very dynamic way to play. But let's play bishop e7 here. It's more solid and easier to handle. And the idea is that if white takes here, we can take back. But which one to take back? If you want to think for a while, it's good time to think now. I castle here, but I think he won't take here immediately. But if white takes there, which one is the best choice for black? Should we take with the pawn, knight, or with the queen? Okay, of course, taking with the queen is a blunder. We are not going to do that. And if we take with the knight, then these pawns can go forward later or almost immediately, and that's why it's better to take with the pawn. Of course, now we have to think how to develop this bishop, and this would be also a mistake because usually we would like to play c5 in these kind of positions and then knight here, or we can put our knight here and c5. But usually this bishop belongs on this diagonal. So let's play b6 here, and the idea is to get bishop b7. Okay, this pawn blocks this diagonal at the moment, but we can take here, and then the diagonal is open for the bishop. This is quite common mistake at this level, to put knight on c6 before c5. So the right order is to play c5 and knight c6. But usually, if you want to play similar way in different kind of positions, you can just put knights on f6 and d7, and c5 is then free option for you. Okay, white played a4, and positional wise this is quite dubious. At least there are some downsides. If you want to think what is the downside of this move, it looks quite active. Maybe white tries to play a5 here, but actually I think black has at least one good option here what to do. Okay, when white plays a4 and c4 is already played, no one can kick knight out if knight goes here, or bishop can go here. So there is no a4 or there is no a3 or c3 moves, and that's why this square is for black now. We can just play this way, and then it's a sure thing that we can put our knight here later, or just play bishop there if it looks good. Okay, this is very standard move in d4, d5 openings where black has this kind of structure. One way to meet this plan, very common way, is to take this knight and then try to get something, because usually white has to take with this pawn or with this pawn after the trade. Okay, I think the easiest way to play here is just to put knight on d7. Of course, we could go here. That's kind of extra option now, but it looks quite good here because there might be some tactical options, and we can put our other knight to d7 if we want to trade this knight away. So this time I will choose this square, but if white's pawn is still on a2, this would be a mistake, because there is no good chance to get knight here. If black plays knight b4, then white can play a3, and then black is losing time. Good morning, welcome. Yes, Title Tuesday went very well. In last evening, I won a few Grandmasters, and one of those was Eliano, who have been number 6 in the world list. So very good tournament for me. But today we have a different kind of topic. Back to the basics. Okay, let's put the knight here. Alekhine defense. Maybe I will play later that kind of speedrun where I play Alekhine defense. In this speedrun, I will play so-called good openings. Alekhine defense is somewhat dubious, so I will play e4, e5, or e4, c5, or e4, e6, or e4, c6, for example. There's lots of options, and I hope that you can find your opening from those. But later we can do different kind of speed runs. Okay, here white jumps here, and there is no threats at the moment. Of course, we have to be careful because there is tension. Should we take here, or should we prepare that white will take here? Okay, if we take here, we will open up this diagonal, but then there is a chance that white can create strong center. But in this position, I think that there is no clear way to get f3, e4, but maybe we can still play with this tension, maybe c5 or c6 and then c5, because knight has to retreat. Knight e4, there's lots of good options. This looks very active, and I think we can do that. If bishop takes here, we can take with the pawn or with the bishop. I think position is quite equal, and our opponent has played very well if we compare his play to his rating. I think this is clearly much better than 470. Hello, welcome. By the way, there is a poll in the chat. If you want to give your vote, that would be nice, because then I can know more how many new faces are around, and of course it's very good to know that if there is those who have been here earlier. Okay, bishop c3 prepares some action on this diagonal if I play c5, but I think I can play c6 first, and then when knight retreats, then I can take here if needed. At least this looks quite good, because knight has to go here, and it's not the best square for the knight. So let's see what happens. Of course, I think... okay, he's thinking, but this is not an option, because I can take with the pawn, and then there is no free squares for this knight. So I think this is a must, and then we can play rook c8, which is very useful move in these kind of positions, because we are going to play c5 later. I have to speed up a bit because I have only 3 minutes left. Okay, f3, it kicks this knight out from e4, but then there is some weaknesses. If I take here, that might give a white chance to create some pressure on b6, and that's why I don't want to trade. I just want to keep my knight here, and now we can see that a4 was a kind of positional mistake, because now we have very strong knight on b4, which can create some play. c5 is of course one idea, but then knight can jump back to b5, so we have to be sure, is this good or bad? And other option is to take here and then c5, and if we can't do this or that, maybe we can do something like this, trade this great knight, and then try to create some play. Okay, he tries to take this knight, but at the moment this is not a threat, because we can take with the pawn and play c5, then we have bishop pair, and if bishop takes, we can take with the pawn and play c5. I mean, if he takes with the knight, the same idea works well. We don't want to trade bishops, because we will have bishop pair and quite good chances to open the position for our bishop pair. Okay, it seems to me that now we can create some weaknesses for white by taking here and then c5. I will take this square away from this knight, and now this knight is kind of a problem for white. Of course, we have to find good diagonals for our bishops, but I think f6 is already a good idea, because then we can get our bishop here and even here. f4 protects this pawn, but then this diagonal might be very good for black later. Okay, let's play f6. Maybe bishop g4 is actually an option for white. I think my opponent is playing much better than his rating, because he doesn't use time for those moves that can be very common at this level. Now there's some pressure. Maybe we can sacrifice here, but it's very hard to handle that kind of position. I think I could do that probably in my own game, but here I try to play kind of easier chess. Okay, what to do now? This is going to be critical. Okay, queen c6 maybe, or first this one. Breaking this pin, and then we can take here with the pawn. If bishop goes here, then we have queen c7, and this will drop. But this is far from clear. White has good chances, and the level of play is something like 1400 at least. Maybe much higher. Because he knows what to do and what not to do. If queen comes here, I'm very surprised. Okay, it defends this pawn, but how he can find those moves? Okay, now d4 prevents knight. Okay, he has queen c4, maybe queen here. Okay, now I can collect this pawn. Maybe a5 to get some play. Again, very well played. Now we try to get attack. Okay, he allows that. I think it was a mistake. Of course, we can take here first, and then this one. The idea is to get bishop here. Okay, he played that kind of move, which is a bit surprising, but let's see. I can't see anything clear, but of course, bishop here, queen here, queen here. There might be checkmate, but of course I can play bishop here first and then try to find the way, but maybe bishop here. Okay, but queen here, then rook here, and I think I can't take because then it's too dangerous. Okay, let's try to create checkmate threats with the queen here. Now this is a big threat. Queen here. Okay, maybe bishop here. Okay, or we can try to get some tactics. Oh, okay. Now he plundered, but this was a great game from his side. Okay, let's play more. Let's play e4. Hello, welcome. Okay, d6. Not the best, but still solid way to play. And if black plays something like d6 or a6 or h6, usually the best idea is to just play d4 and try to get something from the opening, because these kind of moves are too slow. At this level, this is quite common mistake. But what is the reason why this is a mistake? You can think for a while, and I will give my answer soon. It hits the queen, of course, but there are some downsides. Yeah, tomorrow I will play with viewers, so You can challenge me tomorrow if you want. At the same time, I'm going to play with viewers. Okay, bishop g4 develops the bishop, but we can play f3, and then we can have free move. Our bishop goes here, and this structure with this e3 bishop is usually very good for white. There's lots of different kind of openings where white can do this kind of structure with the pawns and this bishop, but we need this dark square bishop. If it's not available, I mean if the trade has happened, then this might be very tricky to handle, but now we can put bishop here, and whatever happens later with this diagonal, we can put our bishop to f2. And if we want to play more active way, more aggressive way, we can castle long. It's usually the best idea against this kind of passive systems. If we can't play immediately e5, of course bishop e2 and short castling is also a good option. But let's play this plan in this game just to demonstrate that this is very playable option for white. Okay, he plays d5 already, which is very surprising because black is not ready for castling and we are. So we can take this. Of course, have to calculate. We have two attackers, only one defender, so we can take here. And if this trade happens, we can take with the queen. And when this pawn takes d5 happens, black has to move this knight because this is already a threat. So I can't see the point why d5 was played here. Hello, welcome. Okay, he's thinking what are those other options? Maybe knight b4, but then we can just put our bishop to c4, defend the pawn, and then we can castle short if we want. Okay, I can't see the point. Of course, there's a check, but then we can use this bishop. As I said, it's very good bishop on e3. Otherwise, this could win the knight, and of course, okay, in this position we have knight c7, but this is very good example. If we have bishop here, we can play bishop f2 if needed, but here everything works because black is just losing all his pieces. Of course, it's very important to find those tactical options. There is threats, and of course we have to check that everything is covered, and then we can do our move if there is no tactics. This player was 480, and this is quite common, but the last one was clearly better player. Of course, it might be the case that there was no games, not enough games, and that's why it was 400 something. Okay, but let's concentrate on this game. d4, and now we have to take that. It would be a mistake to take here if knight takes, because then queen comes to d4. But after knight takes d4, we have bishop c5, for example, which is quite good variation. Okay, knight jumps here. the plan is probably get queen here, bishop here, or queen here, and f7 is the weak spot, and that's why these kind of plans can work at this level. But of course, if we know that the plan is to get queen here or bishop c4, we can prepare and try to kick this knight out with useful move. It would be a very big mistake to play f6, but h6 is usually a good option. But here we have to be sure that queen h5 is not an option, because we can take with the pawn. Our rook is hanging, and we don't have time for this because queen takes f7 is checkmate. So h6, queen here, g6, queen somewhere, and we have time for bishop g7, then rook is covered, and we can take on g5. So it seems that if there is no knight takes f7, we can play h6 and win a tempo. Okay, h6, knight takes here, king takes, bishop c4, we can't go back. Aha, because queen comes to h5. Okay, this is actually quite interesting trap. I'm not sure is this working or not. So okay, if we have d5, then it's okay. Then we go, we play d5, bishop takes d5, bishop e6. Or if pawn takes, we have knight e5. But this can get tricky because there's lots of different kind of plans for white. So how to play this? Okay. Bishop e7 looks it's kind of safe option, because if knight takes, we have king f8, and then there is enough space to hide, and we are piece up. If queen comes here, then we have similar plans with g6, queen here, h6, and there is a pin. So I think bishop e7 is the most precise move. Or actually bishop c4, and if we take here, queen here, somehow it seems to work, because after queen here, bishop can take this one, and okay, bishop e7, bishop c4, we have knight e5, but this is clearly a line black should know, because this looks quite dangerous. Bishop e7, bishop c4, at least we have knight here, but then queen goes here. This is actually much trickier than I expected. I'm not sure about bishop e7 anymore. Maybe I should go with the d6, because then we have knight e5. Okay, I play, or d5 is very standard move in these kind of gambit lines. So let's play d5. It's very common idea. It stops bishop c4, helps development, and if you don't know what to do, usually d5 is the best move. So let's play d5. It took a lot of time, but I think it was very good to think in this point, because it was a critical moment. Okay, nice to know. Welcome to the show. Okay, I just took it here, but I wasn't calculating, is there some threats with knight c3, but I don't think so. We can just... Oh, okay, he resigned, but this is actually very dangerous line. You should know this, and let's see what are those threats according to the computer. Here, okay, many ways. There are at least bishop e7, h6, d5 as I did, but I think d5 is the best from human perspective, because it's very... Then you can play without calculating too much. But let's see. For example, if h6 happens, what is this? This is the line I was calculating, and okay, have to go here. Okay, that's the key. If knight comes here, then this can be really tricky. We have to go here. What about bishop g5? Okay, but the problem was I was calculating thus far, and I saw that this is very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. But somehow king f6 is working. But this is kind of... Don't do this at home, because then you have to be sure that this queen is not... Ah, okay. It's not getting anywhere, and we can take c4, and then we have... What we have? We have at least 3 pieces for the rook, because this cannot be taken. There is check and queen drops. But of course, this is just a example line. What can happen after h6? You have to be very precise, and I think same goes with this plan. Bishop c4, and if I take here, queen h5, hits here, and now if queen e7, for example, I was calculating something like this, but then bishop takes g5. Okay, this works as well, but it's not so easy. And that's why usually d5 is the main move. For example, here, if bishop c4, this is a Scotch gambit, you can play this way, and e5, then have to remember to play d5. This is very good way to meet this gambit, and if white doesn't take here, then you can jump here and play something like this and castle. Okay, let's move on. Hello, welcome. Okay, let's play e5. Clearly a move which is not a good one, but there is a threat to take on e5 and f7. Okay, let's develop the knight. Of course, bishop c4 is the plan here. If queen goes to h5, okay, b4. Maybe the idea is to provoke knight takes b4, then this pawn will drop. In this kind of situations, you can try to find a move to make this impossible, and then you can take here. And this is a very good way to think how to make this possible. And if you want to think for a while, what is the move here I'm going to play, you can think, and then I will play the move in 10 seconds or so. Of course, if you want to give your answer in the chat, go ahead, and then we can discuss about those moves. Okay, the queen tries to take here, and if I play very useful move, knight f6, it hits here, and queen has to move somewhere, and if it goes back or somewhere to d1, e2, f3 or so on, then we can take this with the knight. Of course, taking with the bishop is also a good choice because it develops the bishop, and if we can't follow, if we can't play this knight takes c2, usually it's better to develop the bishop. Okay, now this is of course an option to take this b4 with the bishop or with the knight, but again we can try to get some benefits from this queen on f5, because this queen journey is not the best idea, and usually if we can get this bishop out, then we can have even more chances to win this quickly, and that's why d5 is the best move here, or at least it feels that now we are winning or almost winning, because queen is hanging, e4 is hanging, b4 is hanging, and that is the reason why this kind of queen moves are leading into trouble. Now we could take on b4, but this is quite common idea. When queen is on f3, we can try to get our knight to c2, and that's why I play knight d4 without calculating too much, because there's some common tactical plans. If queen goes to queen goes to c3. Okay, it went to d3, but similar plan might work after pawn takes e4, because now queen has to move again. Oh, okay, this is clearly a mistake, but okay, I will show that plan. You can think what is the best move if queen c3 happens. Okay, he resigned, but this is very good example why it's not good idea to bring your queen to the game too early, and this kind of things can happen easily. Okay, if queen goes here, my plan was to take on b4, because if queen takes, then we can do this, and then it's a fork. These kind of plans are quite common when queen goes around the board in the opening. Okay, let's play more. Okay, let's play c5 this time. At this level, usually something like knight c3 or g3, bishop g2 is happening. It's quite rare that open Sicilian is played by white, so we don't need to know opening theory, and my personal opinion is that you don't have to know more than your opponent, and usually your opponents doesn't know much about opening theory either, so you can play Sicilian without any fear. You can just put your knight here, develop bishops, and put your pawns like this, or play with the neither fashion if d4 happens, taking here and e5. And actually, if you are afraiding these kind of attacks to f7, Sicilian is much safer option for you, because there is no way to get on f7. Just put your bishops here, 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 and if pawn to d4 happens, just take it, and everything is fine. Okay, we have seen this kind of knight jumps at this level, but usually it's losing time, because we can play h6, very useful move, and knight has to retreat, and then we just develop those pieces. If bishop goes to b5, we can put bishop d7 or knight d7. This is also an option, but maybe it's not so. It's not the best, because we have to deal with this kind of structure, which can be a kind of tricky position to handle. Okay, we can trade these bishops. Oh, maybe e5 is actually something now. Okay, I missed this tactics. Knight d7 was better, but I think this is still playable, because this is hanging. Okay, he didn't see that one, but of course when queen is here, e5 plans and taking b7, rook might drop and so on. Okay, he's using this pin, but it's only temporary plan, because we can play bishop e7 and castle, and then this knight white has to retreat, and this queen maneuvering plan is not the best. Okay, maybe some plans with taking here, but we can do this if needed. Okay, let's develop the bishop. By the way, there is a poll in the chat. Feel free to vote. It seems to me that we have something like half of you are new here, so welcome to the show. Okay, if we castle, then there might be some tactical plans, but it's not too dangerous, I guess. We can castle or just develop pieces. There is no need to castle yet, and in Sicilian you can keep your king in the center much longer than those e4, e5 openings, because the center is not going to open so early. Of course, now we can castle or win material with tactics. These pieces are a bit, I mean, there is tactical chance to win a piece now. If you want to think what is the move here, you can think for a while, and then we can go further. There are similar plans than earlier. What we saw that this bishop can attack the queen if we move this pawn. Then it was d pawn in that previous game, but here same kind of plan works very well. So here we see that it's not good idea to bring queen early in the game. Okay, hello to Oliver. Welcome. By the way, I'm a professional chess teacher and coach, and I do lots of chess clubs in schools, so I teach a lot of kids who are similar age than Oliver, who is watching. Okay, knight d4, this jump is just a move. We can do something else, of course, but we are already in castle, and we won the queen, so we have to just play some good moves, trade some pieces, and then we can attack to king. Of course, we can go for direct attack, but usually it's easier to win some material and win the end game, and that is the plan here. Hello, welcome. A6, the idea is to play b5. This kind of plan can be useful in this kind of structures, because we can trade this bishop, which is usually the best minor piece in this position, whereas e4, e5, and the bishop can be on this diagonal. Okay, let's trade the bishop. This is kind of similar plan than what happens in Ruy Lopez. Now we can play d5. The idea is to get d4, and now we can trade more. This kind of knight is usually very badly placed because there is no moves, and that is the reason why knight should be on f3, not here. Okay, rook d1. These kind of forks are quite common, not in Sicilian, but in general in chess. When you have center action, you can try to find way to push d4. And for example, in English opening, when black plays knight c6, bishop e6, there is quite many positions where white plays d4. It hits here if bishop is on c5, and then d5. And this is quite common trick in English opening. You have to beware not to lose your pieces if you play against English opening. The main plan is to put rook on c8, and then here, if rook c1, we can trade, and so on. Usually, rook is the best on second rank or seventh rank if it's white's rook, because there's lots of pawns, you can collect those. Okay, and now we can see that usually if you move something like f4, this second rank can be very useful in kingside attack also. How to get queen on g4 or g6. Maybe it's not not so easy, but for example, queen here, pawn takes, queen here, then we have already very big threats. Okay, it seems to me that that is the best plan. Okay, we can take here also, might be even better. We can collect one pawn, and then If knight jumps here, we can take another one. But as you can see, this is 24th move, and this was my first move with the queen. And usually it's good idea to keep the queen here, something like 10 moves or so. Of course, there's some openings where you can move your queen early, but usually it's good idea to bring your minor pieces in play first and then wait for the right moment for the queen. Now I use this pinning plan. Knight can jump because queen takes g2. This pawn is not hanging actually because knight c5, bishop c5, and we can take on f2. And it's winning. We can give this knight, and then there is checkmate plan. By the way, if you want to play against me, tomorrow is the day when I play with viewers, same time, and then you can challenge me if you want. Usually I explain a lot during the games, so you can learn and play and have some fun. Okay, let's play more. Let's play d4 this time. And then c4. If pawn takes, then we can take the center. Usually it's not good idea to bring bishop first, because white can take here, and then we have more center pawns. We can play e4 later. And if queen takes here, the queen is too early in the game. So let's take here. I think this is kind of theory line, but still, let's play without theory, just with basic principles. This develops the knight, hits the queen, and now we try to play e4, but of course we can't play this immediately because there is a pin. So maybe just bishop d2 to get e4 move. Okay, maybe black can play queen b6, but again, queen is traveling around, and even when it takes here, we are going to win this pawn back, and also maybe we can have something better. This is quite typical plan. When queen is on a5, the plan is to get knight on d5. We can't do that immediately, but if you want to think here what we can do first and then put our knight on d5, we don't have to worry about is this okay, I don't give any hints. You can try to find your move here if you want. First we play something, some move which is very useful in any case, and then we try to get these tactics work. Knight jump somewhere. Yeah, e4 is very good move. We take the center, and then we have a good square for our knight, or b5 is also a good square. This tactics works very well against some Scandinavian, in some Scandinavian lines, but now this queen will drop after knight d5. There is no way out. Every square is covered by these pieces, and again we see that it's not a good idea to bring your queen to the game too early. Okay, I think we will checkmate in few moves now. Or if something else happens, we can just put our knight to c7. Back to e4. Okay, French defense, quite solid one. The only downside is that this bishop might be a slight problem, but of course this opening is quite one of those good openings. But this is something else. Too passive, bishops can get out, and this gives white a very easy game. Just bring your knights here, bishop somewhere, short castling, or if you prefer more active play, then you can just castle long. We can play also f4 if we want, but let's play this way. It's easier to handle. Okay, a3, a6. The plan is to play b5. We can prevent that if we want, but don't have to. It depends your taste. If you want to play a4, that's okay. You can also play without that plan, but if black plays something like this, usually computer says that you can do something like this and just take all those space on queen side and also on king side, and usually it's very hard to find good moves for these pieces. But if we play something like bishop e2, b5, bishop b7, and suddenly there is some counter chances. Of course, these pawns can get weak also, but maybe it's easier to just stop this plan. If black plays c5, we can trade queens, and then we have at least some advantages. But of course, d5 or even bishop e2, then we have good Sicilian structure if pawn takes here, but I think after c5 it would be better to play d takes c5 or d5, because this might be actually a playable option for black. Okay, h6 prevents bishop g5, but usually g5 is too much. Okay, he tries to put bishop on g7. We could play h4, but I think it wasn't necessary if we want to castle here. But now this is different because we have to react somehow. If we don't do anything, if we just do something like this, black can play bishop g7, and this knight can jump here, castling, and suddenly it's not so easy to get something from this early weakness, and usually the best idea is to play h4. Similar idea is that if we haven't played a4 and black plays a6 b5, then a4 is usually a good way to attack this structure, and now we can do the same on king side. If g4 happens, of course we have to retreat, but then these pawns are going to get weak, and we can castle here or just keep our king here. Black's king is usually more weak than our king, and that is the reason why we can do this kind of plans. Of course, now he lost a pawn, but it was already quite critical. Okay, knight jumps here. Okay. Usually it's good idea to think, can we move our knight somewhere to take this? I mean, how to make this work? Maybe g6, pawn takes, knight jumps here, and then we can take on g6. That looks quite good. Of course, taking here is one option, but it seems to me that bishop can take, and okay, that might actually work with knight g5 because rook is hanging, but let's try to play with this plan. And then knight jumps here. We will take here and get bishop on h5 and use all those squares and diagonals, files, and so on. Okay, knight jumps here. I think there is no time for queen f6 because bishop takes g4, and that was our original plan. Now knight has to retreat, or we can take here, here, and yeah. Okay, thank you. Welcome. Oh, okay. Bishop takes d4, but now everything is hanging. So we can just take this one. Okay, maybe the plan was to play something like this, but then we can just put our queen to d1 and then g4 is hanging. Okay. By the way, it's very nice to see that there are some viewers that have watched all these Wednesday's streams. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And of course, it's very nice to see new faces here. Welcome. Okay, my queen is hanging and bishop is hanging, and this is a way to defend both. Of course, the bigger threat was also a good choice. Usually it's a good idea to find a bigger threat because it's most active way to defend pieces, and usually it's a very good way to think. First, think, can you do a bigger threat, and then if you can't, then you can defend the piece some other way, but usually that kind of thinking leads to the best results. And checkmate will follow. Checkmate. Okay, let's play more. Okay, knight c6. Bishop c5 is some tricky line. I think we can just take e5, because if queen goes here or here, we have some moves like d4, blocking this diagonal, or something else. But if you are not sure how to react, you can just play normal way, and it's my recommendation against this kind of gambits. Maybe this was just a blunder, but you can just play bishop c4 and castle quickly, and then take this e5 if it's possible. Now we have Italian game if knight jumps here, and if black does something else, we can play c3, d4 quickly, castle short, and so on. Okay, this queen f6 is quite a tricky line to meet, because usually it can lead early problems with queen g6 and bishop h3 when you castle, but if you play d4 quickly, you can use this central action to get e-file open. I'm just thinking, can I do this immediately? Maybe it's possible, maybe, but it's better to castle and then c3, d4, or just d4. This is not a threat at all, because we have rook e1 and taking on e5. Actually, if queen takes here, we can take this immediately, because queen can't really take that one. There is a pin, and that gives our this gives a chance to play d4 early. Even, I mean, if black plays this one, we can take here immediately. Okay, this is of course a wrong plan. This is quite similar what we have seen earlier. So queen here is not the best. Of course, d6 might be much better, because there's bishop g4 ideas. Now we can just play d4. This bishop will drop. This is quite a common, useful plan, tactics, what you can use with both colors at this level. But probably I can demonstrate not to take here, just try to play with quick attack, and that is the reason why black can't really play these kind of openings. Okay, maybe we should take here, but of course we can do something in between. Maybe bishop g5 gives some extra options. Yeah, let's play that. This bishop is not going anywhere, because there's a bigger threat, and we can take this right after bishop g5. Okay. Have to be careful not to lose the rook, but we can play knight d2. Rook is covered by the queen, so no problems. Also, counterattack, again, bigger threat. Queen d5 leads quicker win, I guess, because there is no way to prevent queen takes f7. For example, after knight here, we can take, and this one. Okay, I could play this way, but as I said earlier, usually it's better to find, can you do something active and this is bigger threat, checkmate. So there is no time to take this one. Or if black does this, it's it suits very well for white. So we can do this, but have to be careful not to allow anything, any active defensive plan. If f6, we can do this, it's checkmate. If knight jumps here, we can take, and this is hanging. Of course, maybe black can castle, but then we have this and we have extra piece. And I think there is no any other moves, so queen d5. And actually this is a very good thinking method also at higher level, because usually you can prevent your opponent's plans with active choices and not just reacting your opponent's plans. I think this is the only only move which gives some chances to continue the game. Of course, white is winning after bishop takes h6, but black can castle, which is the most important move in opening. Our king is in safe and black king is in danger, and again the reason was this queen travel around the board, and that's why white is winning. After this we can take castling and actually trap this queen with queen d2, queen takes here, knight bishop c3, and there is no way out, so everything works here. By the way, what are your favorite openings? Do you play e4 or d4? If you want to give your answer in the chat, go ahead. It's good to know what kind of openings you are playing. My recommendation is to play so-called good openings like Rui Lopez, Italian Game, and or Queen's Gambit if you prefer d4. Yeah, it's good idea to play both, because if you play e4 and d4, you can expand your positional knowledge, and usually it's good idea because you can have more positional tools to play better chess. If you play only one opening, usually your understanding is not growing, and that might be a problem later if you want to develop in chess. But of course, if you play some big openings like Rui Lopez, there's lots of different kind of strategical plans, and that gives you chance to learn about chess, and you don't have to switch openings. Rui Lopez or, for example, Sicilian Knight are those that kind of openings. Okay, this is quite common mistake, you can say so, in 4 knights game. Knight can take here, and then d5 is an option. So let's play this, and that's why bishop b4, b5 is the main move for for white. Of course, here bishop b5 or bishop d3. Actually, bishop d3 is the best for white according to the engine. But if we take here and play bishop d6, black is better than fine. Here we have space advantage. I mean, this pawn will give good share from the center, and also bishop pair. These knights are not well placed. Of course, have to be careful not to let some tactics happen here. For example, this might be a big mistake because our queen will drop. So maybe bishop f5 first and then h6. If queen comes here, then bishop g6, bishop e7. There's actually quite many good options for black, but I think it might be the best to develop the bishop and attack the knight, because then there's no time to queen h5. This knight is hanging, so let's play bishop f5 here. Bishop e7, then there might be queen h5, but still this is very good for black. Okay, some tricks, because then queen will drop. Actually, I didn't see that kind of plan, so now have to calculate a bit. Okay, queen threatens here. This is a threat, so something is going on. Queen d7 looks quite natural. It keeps eye on f7, f5, and then we have knight d4 plans, also h6 and so on. Queen b3 is not too threatening, I guess, because then we have at least h6, and these knights are not well placed, because if knights are this way and you attack to one knight and then it has to retreat somewhere, the other knight will drop. Actually, this kind of plan is not working because knight covers the rook, and this kind of plan helps you to calculate queen attacks. Okay, it seems to me that knight d4 is probably winning already. It's very active and good way to play, so I think there is no reason to think more. I think queen doesn't find any good squares, and again we see that it's not good idea to bring your queen too early into game, because now there's forks everywhere. Okay, queen d3, but then it's very hard to develop. Now we can take here if we can't see anything better, but maybe intermediate move with h6 is even better, because queen here might be something actually, and that is the reason why I think maybe we play h6 first. Okay, let's do that. Knight here, we can take here. Okay, knight e5 actually. Okay, taking here, queen d5, and those knights are hanging. Okay, at least now knight can jump here. This is hanging as well. We can take this one first. We have already 40 votes. Thanks for voting, and if you haven't, feel free to vote if you want. Okay, which one to take? If we take here, then these knights are in trouble, but of course there might be some chances to create play with queen takes e5, check, bishop here, queen takes here, and our rook is hanging and f7 is hanging. So maybe it's good idea to prevent that kind of plan. If we can't calculate this plan, we can just castle, because after queen takes e5, knight is hanging, rook is hanging, and this is a good example how you can play these kind of positions without calculating too much. Just play positional way, castling here, and you can take the rook or g5 knight. Of course, I think that this is winning, and maybe even this is winning, or f6, but it's easier to play this way. Don't have to calculate too much. Okay, e4 is hanging, this is hanging. Our knight might get in trouble here, so maybe it's the best idea to take this rook, and if it gets stuck in the corner, we have won already 5 points, so no problems. And now queen d5 looks very natural. We are going to win this knight or that one. Okay. Oh, there's some fork on f7. I didn't see that one. Okay, we can take here. Knight takes, bishop here. Okay, there's some tricks, but I think it's going to win. Now we have to calculate, but of course we are winning so much here that we can give something back. Yeah, usually it's a good idea to try to be patient. Just one look, and then you can do the plan if you don't find anything better. But usually it's a good idea to just look your options. If queen comes here, we can put our bishop on f5, and there is no time to take this rook. Actually, if queen goes here, then it will be checkmate in few moves. Now knight is hanging, so f7 will drop. We will have this one. Everything works. Okay. Queen tries to keep eye on this knight, but we can cut this defense with g6. there's no time to take here. If knight takes here, that's okay. We can take back, and we are not going to lose exchange. But of course, we are winning many ways, but this is probably the most precise way to play. As you can see, I am not thinking too many tactical ideas, only what is the most important in current position. I'm not going to calculate, can I take here or whatever. Just those lines which are important. Yeah, okay. We can bring our knight back if we want. Maybe it's a good idea. Of course, we could take this one also. Maybe it was actually the best, because the knight has better square. Now it might get in trouble in some positions, but not here, because we are so much up. Okay, now we can trade few pieces. It's okay. Usually it helps to convert these advantages, and bishop here. We can trade queens as well. Okay, let's do this. King here, if queen goes here. Okay, we can put our king here, just in case everything is covered by the king. Actually, it's a very good idea to understand that king is actually covering these pawns, and there is no way to attack with only one piece. But of course, if pawn goes here, then queen has very good chances to create checkmate. So have to take account what white is going to do, but we can play something like this, of course, or something else. But I think this will be the easiest way, because now we have bishop d3 and there's no good squares for this rook. Now rook will... Oh, okay. And then this was the plan, but of course we can play this way now. e4. Let's play Italian. Italian or Ruy Lopez are good openings for white, because we can castle so quickly. Okay, this is Berlin. Or no, Berlin, of course, not Berlin, but if bishop is here, then it's Berlin. Now we can go in this attacking line. Of course, d5 is then option. We have to know a lot of theory, so let's play positional way. d3 is very good option, and now we can just castle, play c3, knight goes here, here. Of course, rook e1. Before knight f1, but we can do this. Okay, this is clearly wrong idea, because it helps white to play according his plan. Maybe knight b4 tries to get c5 and prevent d4. But what is the best move here for white? You can think a bit, or just or you can give your answer in chat if you want, or just think along with me. Usually it's a bad idea to move same piece twice in the opening, and here we see that this knight is doing nothing on b4. of course, the idea is c5, probably what I said, and then knight can jump here. But the downside is that black is not developing, and f7 might be a weakness. So we can try to get this work with knight g5, but maybe d5 is the move there, or yeah, after d5, if we take here, knight takes, and it's not similar. Rook e1, of course, but we can do even better if we just play normal move. C3 is the idea I was thinking, because c3 is very useful move in any case, because we are trying to play d4, and when black does something like this or this or this without good reason, then we can play d4 as quickly as possible. Bishop d2 is probably is not probably the best, but might work, because if c5 we can take here, knight g5 again. But if we play this way, we don't have to calculate those knight g5 d5 lines, because now it's clear that knight has to retreat, and then this is much better. Okay, it went here. Probably the idea is to play c5 again, but now this is much stronger, because there is no knight which can take on d5. So let's play this way. And now we see that that was a big mistake to bring knight here, here, and here. If bishop is here, black can castle, and in that kind of position, knight g5 is usually a bad mistake, but here it's clear that we are going to win f7. But what is the best way to take it? If we take with the knight, then rook can move here, we go back, and it goes here. But if we take with the bishop, king has to move somewhere, it goes e7. Okay, I think both are good options. I don't know actually which one to choose. Okay, let's take with the bishop. If king goes here, we can retreat, and then there's check, and I think it's going to win some material. Maybe even bishop e6, but queen here, check. Okay, it's not so clear. If knight takes here, bishop takes here. So let's play bishop c4. Now this is a threat. Quite hard to meet. Now we can take this first and take here if we want. Of course, we don't have to trade queens, but usually it's the easiest way to win, because we are going to win the rook. So if we take the rook first, then queen can go somewhere and create, okay, this is not an option, but maybe here and try to create something, and things can go wrong. So let's trade queens first, because black has to take here, and then we can take the rook, and it's the easiest way to play. Yeah, it's true that now there's no castling rights after bishop takes f7. That's a good point. Okay, and what next? Maybe the best idea is to get this knight out from h8, not to lose knight without reason. Now we can do this. Okay, he played h6, and it prevents knight g5. Okay, we can try to create another square for the knight by playing f4, e5, or d4, and so on. Let's try. that plan. There's no reason to not to play this because no queens, no reason to fear anything. Okay, bishop here might be a move, but we can trade, and actually king knight can go here and f5. So I think it's working. I just wanted to keep this rook on f-file. Actually f5 with the idea to put knight here and here will work, but okay, what is the plan? Maybe knight will jump here. But we can take here and play e6. And then there is a good chance that this pawn is also very good on e6, and knight is not in danger. We can do this, and then this bishop will drop on e2, or even if it goes here, we have that kind of plans. So, of course, this might be a good choice as well. Where it goes? There's no squares. I'm from Finland. Where are you from? Okay, let's take this one, because I think we can do this, or okay, just bishop c4, because now the knight is covered by the bishop and we can play e5. Taking here with the bishop, and the knight is not in danger. Actually, now there are some threats. Have to be careful not to allow anything real. Maybe e5. King goes here. Okay, but this is not too dangerous. But usually it's a good idea to prevent any counterplay if you have time. So let's play b4. Then knight can't join in the game, and bishop can't either. And that's why this is the easiest way to play. Check, and knight will drop. And now we can trade even more, or win even more. There might be checkmate in few moves. We could take here. It's winning, of course, but I think there's no way to defend the king if we put rook on f7, and the idea is to play bishop f4. If c6, then same plan works. If knight takes here, we can take it, and c5 is not an option. If bishop e7, we can take here, knight covers the rook, and then bishop f4. So let's try to be quick here. If you are around 1000, probably Italian game is the easiest opening. you can just play this way, develop knight, bishop, castle, d3, c3, and then later d4, and it's very easy to handle. So like what I did here. Actually, this opening is very good for all, because you can do almost the same idea or ideas every time. The idea is to play d4 when you are ready, and you are when you have castled, and maybe knight d2, knight f1, knight g3 if needed. You don't have to know too much. Just put your pieces in play and d4. Of course, you can do also this kind of things later. You don't have to find square for this bishop, because usually it can be here, and then later bishop goes to e3 or g5, or you can play d4 first, and then this bishop will find good square, maybe sometimes on f4 if this trade happens, but usually it's good idea. It's good position for white if this trade happens. So if you play black pieces, don't take here if you are not sure that it's going to be a good choice for you. Okay, the same. My recommendation is to play good openings, and you don't have to remember too much theory. Of course, if you know, it's much better, but if you don't know, it's still playable, because your opponent doesn't know either, and you can play same plans. Okay, let's play. This is just an example. Whatever happens, usually it's bishop c5 or knight f6. You can play d3 and then castle like this way. Of course, this is a tempting option, but then you have to know lots of theory. Here you can just play c3, d3, e4, castling, then knight d2, rook e1, knight f1, and so on. Of course, if black plays something like this, then you have to react, but then just take here. Usually it's not good idea for black to play d5 too early, because white is quicker in development, and this e file is usually a problem for black, because now, okay, black is using 3 moves with the same knight, and usually it leads some problems. Okay, let's think here. Should we take this one, or rook e1, or something else? What would be your choice here? Yeah, h3 is usually a good idea, but if you compare this c3, d3, e4 line to those where white plays something like knight c3, then you can get trouble with knight d4 because this pin. But if c3 is already there, there is no knight d4 anymore. So you don't have to worry about this bishop g4, but of course h3 is a typical move and can be played, but in these kind of positions where black plays d5 so early, it's usually a good idea to try to get some advantages from these kind of moves and early d5. So Maybe rook e1 is the best here, or d4 is actually one option too. But if you can't decide which one, usually it's better idea to develop, and this is developing move, this is not. So after this we are playing with 3 pieces. After d4 we are playing just with 2 pieces. Of course the idea is that there is no e takes d4, or if knight takes we can trade everything, and in the end bishop will take on f4. There's no intermediate moves and so on, but this looks very easy way to handle this position. Now bishop takes f4 is a threat. This is also a threat. So what to do? It seems to me that black is in trouble already. I have had coach, but after I got something like 2200, I have learned everything by myself. So I think I have had one coach, but of course it would be much better to have coach in the later stage also, because I think I have learned many things in a hard way. Many mistakes and so on. Okay, f6 tries to keep things together, but it seems to me that now we can create strong attack with these pieces. If you would like to think what we can do here, you can think by yourself or just give your answer in the chat. I think we will have a quite nice attacking plan here. Of course, we can just play bishop here, knight here, and we are piece up, but I think we can sacrifice the queen here. If we want to think how this can be a good choice, even though we are going to lose the queen. I will make my move in a few seconds. Caro-Kann defense is very good, solid opening. Of course, you can play that with similar plans, and usually it's good opening for beginners and also those who are competitive players. And King's Indian is also a good opening. Of course, it's not so solid, but if you like dynamic play, it's a good choice. Okay, Alien Gambit is dangerous, probably, but not so solid way to play. Okay, my plan is to take here with the check, and the queen will drop in any case, and we can take this later. I would like to play bishop f7 first. Oh, actually, it's working. It's working very well. I didn't see that one, but oh, maybe it's not working that well. And this is not working at all. Okay, let's try to keep things simple with knight takes c6. This kind of tactics usually works when black king is in the middle and we have already castled. Okay, we have already 45 votes in our poll. If you haven't voted yet, feel free to vote. It seems that we have lots of new faces here. That's good. Welcome. I also appreciate a lot that there is those viewers who have seen all of these or most of our Wednesday streams. So thank you for that. Okay, let's take here, and then this bishop will drop. Okay, and if it escapes somewhere, we can put our knight on e6. And there's no castling, right? Actually, knight e6 is very useful square for the knight in many different openings where king is stuck in the middle, and we have some attacking prospects. So it's very good idea to remember. Two piece up, so now it's a matter of time when we are going to win. Maybe check first, and we can trade everything. Usually it's the best idea. Tips for a 500 ELO player. Well, you can do many things which can be useful for you because you have only 500 ELO. But for example, you can follow these streams and other streams, and you can learn a lot because I try to explain common ideas and basic principles and my plans, share my thinking in every stream, even when I'm playing tournament games. So that is probably easiest way if you like these streams. Okay, I think it's time to stop for today. I have to go to teach chess to kids, and this is good time to stop. Tomorrow I will play with viewers, so if you want to challenge me, that is your day. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow. Have a nice day.